The Red Nightmare.
It was a cold winter night on a quiet farm when Reginald Rotter was awakened by the sound of his dog barking. He didn't know what was causing all the noise. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the barking only grew louder and more frantic. Frustrated, Reginald grabbed his 12-gauge shotgun and stormed outside, shouting,
"Who's on my farm? Get off my property!"
He fired 2 warning shots into the air. Suddenly, everything went silent. No movement, no barking, just silence. The next morning, as soon as Reginald stepped outside, he noticed something strange, a red scarecrow standing in the middle of his cornfield. Curious, he walked over to it. As he reached out and touched it, he felt a strange presence radiating from the figure. He shrugged it off, choosing not to think much of it. Instead of worrying, he turned around and headed back inside, pretending nothing had just happened. But the following day, Reginald woke up in the middle of his field, his hands tied to a wooden post, wearing a red suit. He screamed over and over until a nearby farmer, Adil Martinez, heard the commotion and came to investigate. When Adil arrived, he found Reginald tied up like a scarecrow, surrounded by crows. He quickly cut him down and asked,
"What happened, man? Why are you out here like this?"
Reginald looked at Adil with terror in his eyes.
All I know is, I came home, tried to sleep, but when I finally did, I woke up like this, in the same red suit I burned yesterday. At first I thought someone was playing a prank on me. I saw a red scarecrow in my field, destroyed it, and went about my day. Then today I woke up here. Please, man, help a brother out.
Adil helped Reginald inside, laying him on the sofa before heading back to his own farm. Reginald sat there, smoking cigarette after cigarette, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Was he hallucinating? Was he still dreaming?
Who would have the nerve to do this to me, on my own farm? And I didn't even hear Shepley barking.
He called out for his dog.
"Shepley, come here, boy."
When Shepley came running, he didn't recognize his owner. All he saw was a red scarecrow calling him. The dog lunged, attacking Reginald's legs. Reginald collapsed to the floor in pain and confusion. He managed to get up and stumble to the bathroom to wash the blood from his hands and legs, but as he looked down, he saw straw poking out from under his skin. Panicked, he looked up at the mirror, only to see the red scarecrow laughing back at him. Terrified, he tried to scream, but when he opened his mouth, straw began sewing it shut. He ran toward the door, desperate to reach Adil's house. But just before he could cross the property line, he froze. He couldn't move. In the blink of an eye, he closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he was back on the post. He tried to scream, but couldn't make a sound. He tried to blink, but his eyes were sewn shut. He struggled to move, but even his head was stuck in place. 2 weeks later, Adil came by to check on his friend. When he entered the house, he found Shepley on the brink of death from starvation. The cows were malnourished and collapsing from hunger. Adil called out,
Reginald, are you home? Where are you?"
No matter how loud he shouted, there was no sign of Reginald. Adil went to the police station to report what he'd seen, convinced something had happened to Reginald.
"It's like he's been gone for weeks.
He told them,
It's like he was never home in the first place. The animals are starving. I haven't seen him since I found him tied up like a scarecrow."
The officer behind the desk raised an eyebrow.
"Sir, you can't file a missing person report unless it's been 24 hours.
Adil snapped.
"It's been 2 weeks. I'm telling you, last time I saw him, he was tied to a post in his field wearing a red suit, like a damn scarecrow."
The officer looked confused.
Are you on crack, sir?"
"No, I don't do drugs. I'm serious about this. Come with me, I'll show you. The dog is dying, the cows too. No sign of Reginald. The door's been left wide open."
The officer agreed to follow him back to the farm. When they arrived, the officer's jaw dropped. There were 12 scarecrows in the field, all wearing identical red suits.
"This guy really has a fetish for scarecrows."
The officer muttered. Despite weeks of searching, no trace of Reginald was ever found. The police eventually gave up. Since Reginald had no family, his animals were turned over to Adil. Months passed. Every time Adil passed Reginald's house, he saw one scarecrow in particular, one that looked exactly like Reginald. But when he got close, the image vanished. One day, fed up and angry, Adil decided to destroy all the red scarecrows. But as he was leaving the field, he heard something fall behind him. He turned around to see a red scarecrow holding a wooden sign that said,
"You're next, buddy."
Adil's heart dropped. He ran for his life. He rushed home, grabbed his shotgun, and returned to Reginald's abandoned house. But the scarecrow was gone. Back outside his own house, Adil saw something out of the corner of his eye, the red scarecrow staring at him from the attic window. He stormed inside and raced up to the attic. But the scarecrow had vanished again. Terrified now, Adil packed a bag and left his farm. But no matter where he went, the red scarecrow was always there, watching him. He couldn't take it anymore. He returned to the farm. That night, he saw the 12 scarecrows again, but this time, they were standing in a circle around a bonfire, chanting to their god. Adil cocked his gun and fired into the air. All 12 scarecrows slowly turned to face him and said in unison,
"One of me."
Panicked, Adil fired at them, but his bullets did nothing. He turned to run, but one of the scarecrows swung a rusted hoe, chopping off his leg. Adil fell, screaming.
Please, please, what did I do to deserve this?
One of the scarecrows stepped forward.
You killed one of our brothers. Now you'll take his place, just like your stupid friend.
I don't want to take anyone's place. Get the fuck off me.
The scarecrow laughed.
Foolish man. You think you can just destroy one of me and walk away? You know the rules. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Adil, bleeding and desperate, tried to crawl to his car, but just as he opened the door, another scarecrow grabbed him by the throat and dragged him back into the circle. The 11th scarecrow, the priest of their god, was still chanting. All 12 of them spoke together again.
One of me, one of me.
Adil screamed and fought, but it was no use. As the chanting continued, his hands began to stiffen. His skin peeled away, revealing straw underneath. His eyes bulged. His mouth opened wide for one last scream, but no sound came out. His body crumpled. He was now one of them. The next morning, 3 officers returned to Adil's farm to follow up. To their surprise, there was a beautiful garden blooming behind the house.
Wait,
One officer said,
this wasn't here before.
Maybe he planted it. Decoration, maybe.
Another replied. They knocked on the door, but no one answered. So they left to get a warrant. When they came back, Adil was gone. No one had seen him. No note, no sign of struggle. Every day for the next 2 weeks, the officers returned, and every time, they saw the same perfect garden. But on the final day, just as they were about to leave for good, they heard something, a whisper, coming from the garden.
Help us.
One of the officers heard the whisper and immediately ran toward the backyard, trying to find who was calling for help. But as soon as he reached the area, the sound stopped.
Is anyone there?
He shouted into the silence, but nothing responded to him. 2 other officers came around the back of the house, concerned.
What's going on, Raz?
I swear I heard a voice coming from back here. I heard someone screaming for help.
Are you sure?
Yes, I heard it when I was standing right there with you. It wasn't just noise. It sounded like a person.
Maybe you're just hearing things.
One of them said.
You know how these old houses are? When the wind blows through them, they creak and groan. Could have sounded like a voice.
I don't know.
Raz muttered.
It really felt real.
Let's check the field just to be sure. Maybe someone's playing around with us. Word's gotten out about the 2 missing farmers. People love ghost stories.
All right.
Raz sighed.
Let's head back to the station for now.
A year passed. No one visited the old property where Reginald and Adil once lived. The land had been left to rot, or so it seemed. That was until a young man named James Parker drove by and spotted the place. It was breathtaking. Flowers of every color bloomed across the field, dancing in the wind. James stopped his car and stared in amusement.
My wife and daughter are going to love this house.
He said aloud. He went into town, determined to buy the property. When he asked about the deed, the town people grew quiet.
That's Adil Martinez's old farm.
One man warned.
He went missing after trying to find his neighbor Reginald. Neither of them was ever seen again.
James brushed it off.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A giant farmhouse, a beautiful backyard, a full field for only $35,000. That's a steal.
Despite the eerie warnings, he bought the property. Before moving his family in, James hired 5 workers to clean up and restore the place while he was away on business overseas. But when he returned, nothing had been done. In fact, the garden was even more overgrown with flowers. Frustrated, he stormed into the local gardeners' union to file a complaint. What he heard left him frozen.
The 5 workers you hired,
The company owner said,
they're missing. The police are looking for them, and now they're looking for you.
What?
James gasped. The owner locked the office door and held James there until the officers arrived. Soon, the families of the missing men showed up, crying, shouting, demanding answers. James could only repeat himself.
I don't know where they are. I hired them, left town for a week, and came back to this mess.
Officer Raz eyed him skeptically.
Let me get this straight. You hired 5 workers, and they just vanished.
I didn't do anything. I came back to an overgrown mess. I don't even think they showed up.
Where exactly is this property?
Raz asked. James hesitated.
It's a farmhouse. I just bought it on the hill.
Raz's face dropped.
You bought that farm.
Yes. Is there a problem?
The stories you've heard, they're not just stories. 2 men vanished from that same property without a trace. No plane ticket, no passport, no body, just gone.
So, what are you saying?
James asked, stunned.
That I sent those guys to their deaths?
We're not accusing you. We're not accusing you.
Raz said carefully.
But it's possible.
After the questioning, James was cleared and released. He returned to the house. It was silent, eerily still. He searched for any signs of the 5 workers' belongings, tools, anything, but the house was empty. Weeks passed. His wife and daughter were still overseas, and he found himself completely alone on the property. That's when he started noticing a black and white stray dog. Every night, the dog would sit in the garden, always in the same spot, staring, motionless. James tried to approach it, but it would run the moment he stepped outside. It became a routine. Every night, he'd look out the window, and there the dog was, lying in that one spot. What was it guarding? One evening, James decided to find out. He grabbed a shovel and walked into the garden. As he approached the familiar spot, the dog vanished into the shadows. James began digging, thinking maybe there was something buried there. He plucked a few roses to take inside for his daughter and wife, but just as he pushed his shovel deeper into the ground, the doorbell started to ring. He dropped the roses on the floor and ran to the front door to see who had rung the bell, but no one was there. Confused, James returned to the backyard, but when he got there, the beautiful roses were gone. The tools too. Nothing was where he left it.
What the hell is this?
He muttered.
Where did everything go?
He glanced around, but the yard was quiet. James walked back inside and opened the fridge to grab a cold bottle of water. Just then, a gust of wind howled outside, and a voice echoed from the backyard. He froze. Slowly, he walked to the window. There it was, a red scarecrow, the same kind Reginald and Adele had once seen before they disappeared. James grabbed his phone and called the police.
Someone's on my property playing games with me.
5 minutes later, Officer Raz and 2 other officers arrived at the house. As they stepped into the yard, their eyes widened. They saw it too, the same red scarecrow from years ago. Officer Raz turned to James.
Where did that come from?
James took a breath and tried to explain.
I went outside to get flowers from the garden. I heard the doorbell ring, so I left the flowers and tools on the ground. When I got to the door, no one was there. I came back, and everything was gone. I went inside to get water, and that's when I heard a voice. When I looked out, I saw ... that thing.
You sure you didn't do anything else?
I swear.
James said.
I don't know what's going on. I'm scared. My wife and daughter are supposed to arrive in a few hours, and I think someone's messing with me. I just want my family safe. I don't want to go back to that boring place we used to live.
Right, okay.
Officer Raz nodded.
Let's set up some cameras and motion traps.
The officers spent an hour setting up surveillance around the property. Not long after, James's wife and daughter arrived. His wife looked around, confused by the police presence.
What's going on?
She asked.
There's just ... weird stuff happening.
James said.
I've been hearing voices and seeing things.
You didn't sprinkle the holy water? Don't tell me you forgot our tradition when moving into a new place.
What holy water?
My mom packed a big bottle before I came here.
She opened her suitcase, pulled out a 2-liter bottle of holy water, and said,
Come on, let's sprinkle this around.
They began walking the perimeter, spreading the water while the officers continued monitoring the field. Suddenly, James's daughter came running, screaming,
Mommy! Daddy! Mommy! Daddy!
James and the officers sprinted toward the sound. His wife ran to their daughter, and then they saw it. 11 scarecrows had surrounded the house. Officer Raz froze.
Holy shit, it's true.
He whispered. One of the scarecrows stepped forward, glaring at James's wife.
You stupid bitch. You tried to kill us.
What? How did I try to kill you?
She shouted, terrified. The scarecrow pointed to the bottle of holy water in her hand.
Get her.
The scarecrows charged. The officers opened fire, but nothing worked. Bullets hit the scarecrows, but they didn't fall. James's wife splashed the holy water at one of them. As the water hit, one of the scarecrows cracked apart and collapsed.
No, my brother.
The scarecrow leader howled in agony. James grabbed the bottle from his wife and began splashing the water wildly, soaking every scarecrow in sight. The officers continued to shoot, trying to slow them down as the holy water weakened them one by one. Then, something even stranger happened. From the field, 5 men appeared, dirty, weak, and barely standing.
The missing workers.
Officer Raz gasped, but only one was alive. 2 more bodies slowly rose from the garden soil, Reginald and Adil.
They were buried here the whole time.
Officer Raz said, his voice shaking. Paramedics were called, and Officer Raz rushed the surviving gardener to the hospital, hoping to save his life. A week later, James, his wife, daughter, and the 3 officers went to the hospital to check on the man. But when they got there, the nurse gave them a strange look.
He passed away last night.
They asked to see his body. They were led to the basement morgue, but when the door opened, the room was empty. His body was gone. As they turned to leave, a cold wind drifted up from the dark stairwell, and then they heard it.
Brothers, brothers, brothers.
The end.